I need not to duplicate anything that has been said by them that I was going to say. We've worked very closely with Wally, Comrade Wally, trying to bring awareness around the province, going in all part of the province, in Richards Bay, Newcastle, Nkomazi, Kopo, and so forth. Preparing for COP17, because we do believe that most of the people, before you bring them to Durban for COP, you need to make them aware. As much as some of them, they experience climate change impact directly, but we saw the need that we actually should go out there, speak their language, bring it to their understanding, so that they see the need for them to be part of COP17. And we've also worked with Blessing. I've invited him in many of our school workshops to come and inspire our youth, and he has done that well. Thanks, guys. So I'll be short, and hopefully I'll be able to answer when I get a chance. When there are questions arising, then I'll get a chance to respond to many as possible. Yeah, as Wale has said, from the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, we're in environmental justice and human rights. We are based in Wentworth, one of the most polluted communities that is surrounded by Wentworth, Merebank and Bluff. And further down, it's Umlazi in the south of Durban. So basically, it has been a major challenge to actually fight against these big multi-corporations, because we always find a barrier whereby we as NGOs, we as civil society, whenever we try to make sure that these guys, they pay the price and also make sure that they implement the necessary standards to make sure that they eliminate the pollution or the negative environmental impact, we see that it's very much difficult to do that, because there's a huge lack of political will from from our leaders. So that has been also a major hindrance on our side. So, like for instance, we also have two of the biggest oil giants in the country. That's Engen, a Malaysian company. Some of you guys, I can see I've already taken you for a toxic tour, and some of you guys are more than welcome to join us for a toxic tour. There'll be a toxic tour tomorrow, also on Tuesday until the 8th. Yeah, but if you are interested, you can get hold of Wally and me, it's fine. Yeah, so the two oil giants that's situated just adjacent to one another, that's Engen, Malaysian company. It's a Petronas company, and Shell and BP, Sapref. And we also have one of the biggest paper mill just also close by to these industries, that's Mondi Shuluku. And there's another one, Sapi Psycho, down south. It's also another culprit of the greenhouse gases. So yeah, we've done a lot of works in those community, even Wali Mena, Timbawatch, they've done a lot of community workshops in making sure that they empower the community in terms of making them understand that plantations, as Blessings have mentioned before, plantations are really not forest. Forest and plantation, those are two different things. Plantations, basically, it's a factory. It's a factory. It's a factory. It's nothing but a factory. So plantations is something else. As forest is something else, as Blessing has explained before. So because most of the people that we see these plantations at, it's mostly in rural communities, and most of the people, they are not very much educated about plantations and forest. And so Timbawatch has done an incredible work in going to rural communities and making sure that people, communities, rural communities, they understand exactly the difference between the two. So that we understand clear that when we see plantations, we don't see a climate change solution, but it's a false solution. But when we see a forest, that's climate solution. And it does not just end there. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we are very against the things that are done by the corporations due to polluting our environment. Like for instance, we have experienced a number of asthma and leukemia and cancer in our communities that we are situated in. We receive a lot of complaints from communities if they experience any kind of pollution. They give us a call because we are also situated in the community. It's not like we are an NGO that's representing communities there and we are situated elsewhere. Before even sometimes they complain to us, we already have smelled the toxins because we're just 5 minutes away from the biggest refinery of which is Engine. We are 15 minutes away from Cyprus. So they call us and then we go to the spot and then we take samples and then those same samples we ship it to California, US for it to be analyzed, and then we are able to get the results within 2 weeks time, and then we challenge our local authorities, our municipalities, because they take their own samples in these fancy big machines that are called the air quality monitoring stations that cost that's very expensive, cost about 1.5 million for one, that only captures for 5 or 4 chemicals. Some are capturing the wind direction and wind speed and so forth. But with our system, the tool that we are using, it's a bucket brigade. It was invented by one of our comrades by the name of Danny Lassen from GCM, Global Community Monitoring. He has been traveling around the world introducing the bucket brigade. It's a very simple tool. Some of you guys already are aware of it. And we are able to take samples, grab samples, and then we are able to take up to more than 25 different chemicals. And then because we use a Taylor bag, basically it's a 25-liter bucket. It's got a Taylor bag. A Taylor bag, that's the only most expensive thing. Each Taylor bag, it's costs about 300 rand, and it's got a nitrogen cushion layer in it, so it can actually avoid it avoids a toxic stew. If, let's say, for instance, there are many toxins in the air during the grab sample, so it can actually separate different chemicals. And then we are able to send it to California, as much as very expensive, but we prefer sending it there not to compromise our results. Because if you were to do your own research and just look at the labs around the country, most of them, they are funded by the same multi-corporation. So, you know, as we all know, that it's very difficult to find to bite the hand that feeds you. So for us to get something that we trust that is accurate, we prefer to spend money and ship it to California. And then within 2 weeks time, we are able to receive the data, and we request the data from the municipality, from the same air quality monitoring station, exact time, the date, and then we take that result that we receive from them, and we take our result from the bucket brigade, and we see if it's related. In most cases, our results there's a huge difference. There's a major difference. Like for instance, on the 10th of October, there was a major explosion at the Engine refinery. As we speak, that refinery has been called to stop production and go for repairing the damages. That was one of, I would say, major successes, because we were able to enforce the MEC to intervene in the situation and force these guys to make sure that they do a thorough repairing of the plant, because the plant is rotten to its core. And yeah, so basically whenever we receive our results and compare to their results, they really don't complement one another. And over the years, they've disputed the bucket brigade, because they were sort of like the municipality with industries. They've been disputing the bucket system because they saw that as a cheap, not something that is accurate that one can trust. And then Groundwork and SDCEA, they've called a meeting. I think that was in 2005. They called a meeting with the local authorities, City Health precisely, and also representatives from industries to come and do a collective joint sampling with the bucket brigade. And then they done it in different locations around South Durban, and then they were able to do different testing in different labs. And after that has been done, the municipality and industries, they were shocked with the results, because the results were actually matching. So from that day, they did not dispute it. So they respected whatever information came out from the bucket brigade. And for 1 year, I think that was in 2006, for that whole year, the municipality was using the same system because they were able to trust it. So that has been our campaign in ensuring that we expose industries, we fight for the environments, we fight for our space, and make sure that the government themselves, if they are not intervening in the situation, we also expose them and make sure that they intervene and act on civil society and be on our side and ensure that these guys, they pay the price and do the right thing, because these guys, they always claim to be good neighbors, and we fail to understand how can you be a good neighbor if you are doing different things in different countries. Like for instance, we are just host countries. Nigeria is a host country of Shell and BP. South Africa is a host country of Shell and BP in other developing countries. But the standard that have been used in these the host countries and the parent countries is totally different. So basically, yeah, I'll be short, and maybe a lot of the stuff I'll be able to answer during question times. So I'll just stop there. Thanks.